Hello, my name is Andrew WK, and you're partying hard right here on Heavy Metal Entertainment.
Okay, so I'm Big Dan, and I'm here with Andrew WK. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm well, thank you very much.
How's the tour going so far?
Well, this will be the third show, so it's only just begun. But at its best moments, I felt like it was a new level of party power across the board. The show itself, all the work leading into the show, I really feel a new level of excitement and gratitude, I suppose. It's a new feeling. I'm still processing it. And then I'd say the most challenging moments, it's been extremely challenging, very frustrating and painful, but nothing really outside of the norm when it comes to touring or work in general. So it has those highs and lows, but I'll tell you the lows actually really make those high moments stand out, and I notice them and I don't take them for granted.
That's brilliant. So how's the response to the new album been?
Well, I suppose, like any release, both good and bad. So I guess you call that mixed. Some people like it, some people don't. And many people don't know that it exists. So hopefully through the people that both like it and those that don't like it, others will find out that it exists, and then they can decide whether they like it or don't like it.
So what's the shittest thing about touring the UK?
Well, every place has its unique character, so I don't know that I judge many of those characteristics in a critical sense. You just sort of take it as it comes. Places have their different flavors and textures, and I don't know that one makes necessarily a more enjoyable time for themselves by saying, well, this is a bad texture, or this is a good flavor. You appreciate that it's different than other places. So the only thing I could say would maybe stand out is that sometimes it's hard to find food at odd hours, even in a major area. Things will just close. And I think that's something we take for granted, at least in the U.S., is there's an abundance of not just food, but food vendors, food retailers. So, but England has improved, in my opinion, vastly. From the first time that I came here almost 18 years ago, there's definitely a lot more food available now.
I mean, yeah, we come from a place where if you're hungry past 10 o'clock at night, you're staying hungry.
There you go.
Yeah, until the next day.
That is very well said. We've encountered that, and at the time we've accepted it. We prepared for it. So you might set aside some food for later, knowing that if you don't, like you said, you won't be eating that night.
So the artwork for your new album is phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
How much input did you have into that? Or did the artists pretty much have free reign?
I suppose both. I mean, the artists, Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell, are masters of their style. And I think widely considered to be the reigning king and queen of fantasy art. So they certainly have the capability and imagination to come up with anything and everything. But they've also been extraordinarily kind, generous, and open-minded people to work with, who encouraged and really seemed to enjoy a certain amount of input, even direction. And so we worked very closely on many ideas before finally the painting came to be the way that it turned out on the cover. And that was rather surprising as far as all the different ideas we went through. I did not expect it to end up being what it was. It's a bit difficult to describe, but I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Oh, it's fantastic artwork, it really is.
Thank you. Yeah, they did an amazing job.
How cool is it to have your own conspiracy theory?
Well, I don't know exactly the specifics about what you might be referring to, but people have different theories about different things in general. I don't know that. I think whoever made it up is the one that owns it. That's their theory, and I wouldn't want to say it's my theory or really anyone else's. People interpret the world as best they can, or in the way that they find to be most interesting, and that's one of the beautiful things about the human imagination, is what one person sees, another person might see very differently.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory about yourself, though, that you've been replaced?
I almost, again, think that's sort of dare I say, a traditional theory that has been applied to many people. I've heard people say that, first and foremost about Paul McCartney, of course.
Avril Lavigne.
So that seems to be, again, sort of a pre-existing concept that people might apply to other various acts.
If someone was to make a movie of your life, who would you get to play you?
Me.
Yeah.
I would like to play me, myself.
You'd like to play you?
Of course, yeah,
That's
like
the
Howard
best
Stern.
It's the best person to play you.
Howard Stern in Private Parts. You know, who else could possibly have done that role? So I'm not saying that someone couldn't play me better than I could play myself, but I would like to.
If you could offer anyone at home one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be? It's deep.
Well, it's hard to just pick one. That's the thing. I mean, there's so many things to talk about with life. I would say to stay as thoughtful as possible and as engaged as one can with the questions and riddles of life, and to resist the temptation to tap out or give up or turn off your mind to some extent in favor of an easier time. I think the more we go through life, the more rigorous our efforts have to be to contemplate it deeply and maybe not understand it, but still stay very deeply immersed in studying it and wondering about it. I think being able to be confused and tolerate a certain level of confusion that's thought inspiring is important.
That's a brilliant message.
Oh,
brilliant.
Thanks.
So, what have we got to look forward to in the future?
Just more partying. That's the
More
only thing
partying,
that that's the one thing I'm
non-stop
confident about. Everything else is sort of up in the air, and it's hard to even know what's going to happen in a week from now, let alone a year or 10 years or anything like that. I suppose you can get some perspective by looking back as a means of also looking forward and saying, well, all of this has happened. Maybe more of the same will happen, but you can't necessarily rely or expect that either. So the one thing I'm confident that I can do is keep partying, and everything else hopefully will just fall into place or not.
Well, it seems to have been your motto up to this point.
Yeah.
It's worked bloody brilliantly, mate.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm really going to enjoy the show. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thanks a lot for your time,
Thanks,
bro.
Big Dan.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.